Today I ducked up by creating a mini misogynist and starting a violent feminist uprising in my preschool classroom. This actually happened today, typing this up on my lunch break while the kiddos are napping. Background: I am a male teacher that works at a preschool attached to a church. I am not religious. This morning, I saw one of my male students hit a girl. I pulled him aside and explained to him why he shouldn't hit anyone, but especially not girls because he's a boy. He asked, "Why especially not girls? Does that mean I can hit boys and not get in trouble?" Being that we are attached to a church, and because I honestly didn't have a better answer on hand, I thought it would be safe to reply, "No, you need to always keep your hands to yourself, but God made boys stronger than girls so we can protect them, not hurt them." God damn it, I was wrong. Big mistake. The little boy seemed to have an aha moment in his head, as the idea clicked in his mind. "Okay, I won't hit girls. I will be strong and protect them," he says. After a few more minutes of timeout, and apparently mulling over the mildly misogynistic thought I just inadvertently planted in his head, I allowed him to go back and play. Immediately, I knew I had ducked up. Did you know that boys are stronger than girls? He's running around the room telling everyone with ears that boys are stronger than girls, quickly earning the ire of the girls in the class. Now, mind you, this is a stage of development where most of the girls in the class are actually bigger than the boys. The tallest of which immediately claps back at him, "Nuh-uh. I'm bigger than all the boys in here, and I'm stronger too." He says it doesn't matter. "Mr. Soprano just told me that God made boys stronger than girls so we can protect them. Right, Mr. Soprano?" I literally face-palmed. I weakly tried to walk it back, saying, "Well, some girls are stronger than boys, but we should really just all keep our hands, oh my God." I was interrupted by the girl screaming at Taawak as she punched the boy square in the stomach, and all of the girls stanced up to fight all of the boys 1v1. It was madness. I could see seething hatred oozing from the eyes of the girls. They were bloodthirsty after their strength was questioned. One girl started pretending to use force lightning on a boy. I got them to settle down, and had talks with all of them about keeping our hands to ourselves and not hitting anyone regardless of gender. I still heard bickering under their breath of which sex was the strongest, but I at least ended the violence. Crisis averted.
Encounter with entitled parents in the pediatric emergency room. My 3-year-old daughter was diagnosed with bacterial pneumonia and we ended up in the emergency room because she was struggling to breathe. Pneumonia is very serious. She was put on a nebulizer and O2, and given M4 for more meds while we waited for a room to open up in the PICU. The emergency room was pretty full. The rooms are small, and you share them. There is a curtain that divides them. There are no doors, just another curtain. Around 4 p.m. a family arrives with mom, dad, 5-year-old daughter. The mom briefly looks in on my side of the room and could see my toddler laying in the bed hooked to machines with N4. It's obvious that this isn't a stubbed toe. So I can't help but hear the parents explaining why their kid's in the ED. Stomach pain. Meanwhile the kid is asking for something to eat. She sounds quite perky. Parents insist she has a kidney infection. Whatever, I don't know her history, not interested. So my daughter was given a steroid through her nebulizer to help open her airways. Her O2, which they wanted 90 or above, kept dipping down into the low 80s, making an alarm sound. The nebulizer makes some noise, and the side effect is hyperactivity, so my extremely sick kid was medically wired as hell. Within 30 minutes of arriving, the entitled parents call for a nurse and ask for a private room because their daughter needs to rest somewhere quiet. Meanwhile their daughter was blasting Ryan's toy review from her tablet, and loudly demanding chocolate chip cookies and milk. The nurse explains that there is no private rooms in the emergency room. My daughter then starts having a coughing fit, which is scary as her O2 drops off and she chokes until she vomits. I had 2 nurses in trying to help by suctioning her and patting her back. I'm trying to help her, my daughter is turning blue. I hear the entitled mother ask the nurse how long are they going to be expected to listen to that. Afterwards my daughter was wiped out and was crying a little, and the entitled mom rang for her nurse again and asked again for someplace quiet so her little girl can rest. Her daughter was making a lot of noise playing with something. Then they started playing with the lights. The room has a switch to control the lights on each side, and then a master switch to cut all the lights. My daughter is afraid of the dark. The entitled dad cuts the lights for the room, making it quite dark with the curtain over the doorway drawn. I tell my husband to turn on the lights on our side, which he does. The entitled mom calls her nurse to complain that it's too bright for her little girl to sleep. It's 5 p.m. The nurse explained that they are welcome to shut the lights off on their side, but they have to leave our side alone. They complain a bit about how ill their daughter is. Meanwhile, my daughter is drowning in her own lungs, which I'm sure they know, as you can hear everything. Then nurse leaves and they shut the lights off for the entire room again. My husband immediately turns ours on and calls through the curtain that we need our lights on. Silence. Our nurse comes in to attend to my daughter's fall and they attempt to get her force us to have the lights off. Our nurse basically tells them to knock it off. Then they start pushing for more space. They attempt to push our chair away where my husband is sitting. They put their chair way over on our side of the room, pushing the curtain into our faces essentially. My husband pushes it back. They call and complain. Rinse and repeat. Finally, a room in the PICU opens up and we are told that we would be admitted in an hour. Entitled parents complain that they asked for a private room first. The nurse explains that we are being admitted, not being given a private room in the ED. The EP demand they be admitted first because their daughter is so much sicker. The nurse says that there is no reason for their daughter to be admitted as she is just constipated and as soon as she poops they will be free to go. The parents start freaking out. So that's my story of how the parents of a little girl who needed to take a shit felt they were more important than a little girl with pneumonia.
Embarrassing experience buying a pregnancy test. I'm about to have major word vomit. I apologize. I previously bought a box of pregnancy tests on Amazon because I was too embarrassed to buy them in person, and both tests were duds. So last night a friend and I went to Walmart to buy a pregnancy test. I'm not sure if all Walmarts lock up contraceptives/pregnancy tests, but this one did. I notified an employee that I needed someone to come unlock the case, so they sent a young girl, maybe early 20s, to come open it. As she's walking towards us, she goes, "Someone's getting lucky tonight." I just nervously laughed it off, in shock that she really just said that. She opened the case and I grabbed the box of pregnancy tests, and her whole demeanor changed. She looked at me like I had just ran over her puppy. Like, full-on horror and disgust. Then she says, "Oh, you think you're pregnant?" Maybe I'm just being sensitive, but that was so inappropriate to me. I wish I told the employee how inappropriate comments like those were, but in the moment, I was horrified. After walking away, my friend even turned to me and said, "Did you see how she looked at you?" It makes me mad. What if it was a young teenager, or someone who had been assaulted, going to buy condoms, or Plan B, or heck, a pregnancy test? In no situation would it be okay to make comments on that. Has anyone had an experience like this when buying condoms, pregnancy tests, Plan B? How did you handle it? I don't want this girl to lose her job, but I feel like someone needs to tell her this is not acceptable.
Screwed out of my holiday pay because we don't have set schedules. 3 months later I used the exact same phrase to my boss when asked why I didn't come in when I wasn't on the schedule. The title probably doesn't make too much sense, but it will after reading, hopefully. I'm on mobile, so formatting. Alright, background. When I was hired for the job which I currently work, I was hired to work on Tuesday through Saturday from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. This had been my schedule for months, never changing, as I was verbally told that this was my set schedule. I even clarified this because I had to arrange childcare. For example, one week I was accidentally left off the schedule entirely and was told to just work my normal schedule. Around Thanksgiving time, we closed down for a week. The company policy is that you have to work your last scheduled shift before the break and your first scheduled shift after in order to get your holiday pay. On the Monday following Thanksgiving, remember I'm normally off on Mondays, I got a call saying I was scheduled to work and that because I didn't come in I wouldn't get my holiday pay. This kind of pissed me off because I had been told I would work Tuesday to Saturday and thus had only arranged childcare those days, so I couldn't come in that day if I wanted to. The exact phrase I was told over the phone was, "It is your responsibility to check the schedule every week because we don't have set schedules." Fast forward to this week. While checking the schedule, I noticed that my schedule is the same as normal with the exception that I am off the schedule on Saturday. So, I decide to not look a gift horse in the mouth and just take the 3-day weekend and don't mention to my boss that she left me off. So Saturday, which I normally would work, I don't go in since I'm not scheduled. I got a call from work and didn't answer, no voicemail left. Then I receive a text from my boss saying that my schedule never changes and it will be a no-call/no-show on my attendance record for not coming into work. I reply that I am not on the schedule and so I'm not required to come in, as it is my responsibility to check the schedule every week because we don't have set schedules. I received no further reply and am looking forward to seeing how work goes on Tuesday. Hey, if you want to see more similar videos like this one on daily basis, definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification to see our tomorrow's even better video.